Veterans Day is a United States public holiday observed each year on November 11th. The date holds special significance in history. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, the Allied powers in Germany signed an armistice that brought an end to the fighting on the Western Front in World War I. 1 year later, on November 11th, 1919, in the United States, President Woodrow Wilson asked Americans to recognize Armistice Day with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service, and with gratitude for the victory. In 1926, the United States Congress officially recognized the end of World War I and declared that the anniversary of the armistice should be commemorated with prayer and thanksgiving, and invited the people of the United States to observe the day in schools and churches with appropriate ceremonies of friendly relations with all other peoples.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Devontae Askew. I graduated high school back in 2010, enlisted straight into the Marine Corps from there. So December will be 10 years total of service for me. Did 6 years active duty, started off as a presidential guard at Camp David. Then went over, I'm an infantryman by trade. So I was a squad leader and a platoon sergeant. And then went over to Scout Snipers for about my last year and a half before getting out. And I'm currently a platoon sergeant with 325 Lima Company in Columbus, Ohio.
My name is Daniel Stackhouse. I'm the Ashland County Veteran Service Officer. I am a veteran. I served in the United States Army from 2005 to 2011. I served in Operation Iraqi Freedom 7, Operation Iraqi Freedom 0910, and Operation New Dawn as a combat engineer for the United States Army.
My name is Brandy Mattern. I am a second lieutenant in the Ohio Air National Guard. I started my military career in 2012 when I joined the United States Marine Corps, and I served with the Presidential Helicopter Squadron in Quantico, Virginia for 5 years, and then I transferred over into security forces with the Ohio Air National Guard.
Something I'd always wanted to do growing up. I used to watch all the Rambo movies. There was Rambo cartoons when I was a kid, G.I. Joe. It was something I really idolized growing up, and After 9/11, the events of 9/11 happened, something that really stuck in my head. I still worked for a little bit in the civilian world after high school, and I finally just decided it was time to make the move and joined in 2005.
I was actually a military brat. My mother, she retired 23 years in. She did Army for a little bit, which I call myself an East Coast baby, so I was North Carolina, Kentucky, different places in Ohio before I enlisted myself, so I moved around a lot. And my grandfather was in the military as well for a little bit. I think he served about 4 years in the Coast Guard, I believe it was. But yeah, 4 years in the Coast Guard, and then my mom enlisted, like I said, right out of high school. She was Army Airborne initially for 6 years, and then got out, and then she was Naval Reserves all the way up to that 23-year mark. My
dad was a Marine for 4 years. My brother was a Marine for 11 years, and both of my sisters married Marines. So the family joke is that you either marry a Marine or become one. So I became one. So that was where that came from. I also have 2 cousins that are Marines, and so it's a big family tradition. It's the Marine Corps.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for the risks you take and the sacrifices you make.
Thank you for all that have served and are still serving.
Thanks to all the veterans.
We owe you for our freedom.
Thank you for your service.
Happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service.
And I appreciate everything you do.
Thank you, veterans.
This is Congressman Bob Gibbs. It takes a few minutes to talk to you about Veterans Day that's coming up and why we should always remember that. And we should always thank a veteran and respect veterans. Veterans, what they did to protect our freedoms and our liberties is just really an awesome thing. And their families too, because their families sacrifice a lot. There's a lot of veterans when they're in the service and when they're deployed, sometimes they're deployed for a year or more and they don't see their families, and so it's a really a big deal and a real sacrifice. And you think back in history of our country, how our people have rised up and served our country, and a couple come to mind. After September 11th, 2001, when the terrorists attacked us on our homeland here, we saw lots of young men and women join the armed services to go to put the fight to the terrorists overseas, and very patriotic time, and they really stepped up. And I think it's interesting to think that we have a volunteer army now. Now, when I was your age, we didn't. We had a draft. And I was actually in the last of the draft, the lottery, but they didn't draft my year during the end of the Vietnam era. And then we went in all volunteer army. So now these people that are stepping up to serve in our armed forces, protect our country, are actually volunteering to do it. And that's a really awesome thing. Now, if we go back to World War II, my dad was a navigator in B-24 in the Pacific in World War II. And to think about that, his brother was a bombardier on a B-17 in Europe in World War II, and they didn't have the internet to talk back and forth, and they had sent mail. And I remember my dad showing me, my grandmother, his mother, kept the letters from both their boys in the service, and when they sent letters, they were actually opened by our military officials, and they were scanned and read to make sure that they weren't accidentally divulging information, because they weren't allowed to tell their parents where they were. Obviously, they knew he was in the Pacific Theater, but not tell them, where he was on Guam or Hawaii or wherever he was at the time. So that generation stepped up big time. And you think about the service, and think about the Normandy invasion, how many people we lost, and to fight tyranny. And President Ronald Reagan said, we're only one generation or less away from losing our freedoms, and that's absolutely right. And that's why it's so important when our brave men and women stepped up to serve our country and risk their lives, and that's why we should always thank them and respect them.
just being someone who's actually there and understand like, you know, what you're getting yourself into for the most part. I mean, you're there to pretty much protect the country. So understanding like you're there, you know, and it's not to be selfless, if you will. You're there for the, you know, countrymen and everything like that. But actually actually caring about, you know, your people that you're working with to your left and right, and understand like at the end of the day, when whatever situation you find yourself in, you gotta lean on each other. So definitely have to be a huge team player when it comes to being in the military, that's for sure. And like I said, just actually, you know, just be there for the right reasons. Know that you're there for not you yourself, but for everyone else around you.
I feel like to be in the military, you have to be a good follower as well as a good leader. There are many times when you may have people above you telling you what needs to be done, and you need to be able to get that done and get it done well as there are other people that may not be as high of rank as you, and they're looking at you as an example. So you need to be able to make those decisions and be confident about it, but also look out for the people beneath you.
Very proud, honored, unique, commendable. They're people that are a part of our America's history, and they deserve respect and the chance to learn from them.
Thank you, veterans. We really appreciate all that you do for us.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for all you do.
Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, veterans, for all you do for our country and all you've done for our country.
Thank you for your service.
I just want to say thank you to each and every person who has served in the armed forces of the United States of America.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, veterans.
Thank you, veterans.
Happy Veterans Day.
It was General Dwight D. Eisenhower who in 1954, as President of the United States, signed a bill into law designating November 11th to be Veterans Day. Veterans Day now honors all of the men and women who have served in the United States Armed Forces. Today, we, the faculty, students, and staff of the Ashland City Schools District, wish to acknowledge and express our gratitude for the honorable service of the men and women in our armed forces. In the words of President Dwight Eisenhower, let us solemnly remember all those who fought so valiantly on the seas, in the air, and on foreign shores to preserve our heritage of freedom, and let us reconsecrate ourselves to the task of promoting and enduring peace so that their efforts shall not have been in vain.
Today we vow to hold the torch of fallen soldiers as we recite In Flanders Fields by John McGraw.
In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row, that mark our place in the sky, the larks so bravely singing fly. Scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, held on, saw sunset glow. Loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from family hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If you like the faith with the shall not sleep, no poppies grow in Flanders fields.
Veterans Day is just one of those days, not to really, make one individual feel special, but it's more as a whole. Being a veteran myself, of course, a lot of us came in right out of high school, 18 years old, sacrifice, and we do sign those contracts where we're committed for up to at least bare minimum 4 years of our life is committed to, defending the country in any circumstance that may come up.
I feel like the veteran is the #1 superhero, and maybe some of my elementary school students may not believe that. They may think Superman or Batman or Spider-Man is on top, but the American hero is the veteran. They've taken that time and that sacrifice to lay down their lives for the people that are watching this video.
It's a chance to honor those that I call my brothers and sisters in arms that have served and taken up an oath to stand for America and what it stands for.
So, and it's a selfless act that we had to do. So, the Veterans Day is one of those things, just showing that appreciation, like thanking them, like, we appreciate you, the fact that you sacrificed, X amount of your years, not just you, but your families as well.
I feel like Ashland University and Ashland glorify veterans and military-connected students, and I love that. I feel like sometimes they may not be pushed to the side, but our military-connected students and veterans may not get the recognition that they do in other places, and they are definitely gratified here, and I love to see that.
That's the greatest part of being an American, is that we have the decision to be a part of the military if we want to or not, and I think that's what makes our military the best military in the world.
It's just, like I said, one of those days just to give recognition, and show that appreciation for that sacrifice that not everyone can, is able to do nor will do.
Veterans Day is very close to my heart. It's very important, and I think it's important for all students and all people to know that the veterans and military-connected people in this area have uprooted their lives. They've taken that commitment to serve their country, whether it's here in the States or across the ocean, and fighting for our country. And they've taken that opportunity when many others haven't. And I think that's something that should be gratified, and we should thank all our veterans and our military-connected families.
On Veterans Day, if you see a veteran, anytime you see a veteran, always thank them for their service, and for sure respect what they did, because what they did, they made it possible for us to have our freedoms and protect our constitutional rights. So God bless you and our veterans, and always remember that.
Thank you for being an American hero. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for protecting our freedom. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for our service. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for serving our country.
Thank you, veterans.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for serving.
Thank you, veterans, for your service. Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you. Thank you for our service. Thank you, veterans. Thank you. Thank you for our service.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
thank you for all you do.
We appreciate everything you do.
Hello! I sure hope that you have enjoyed the program that showcased the musical talents of all of our students throughout the school district of all ages. One of the things that we enjoy each year is celebrating your service as veterans to our community and to our country at large. We're also pleased to have the support of family members that have supported you along the way to do the work that needs to be done to keep us all safe and keep us all free. Thank you so much for your service, and we look forward to seeing you at our programs next year. Go Arrows!